Live your life by design. The paintbrush is absolutely in your hand. It's your canvas. If you are living your life for anyone else but you, please do whatever you can to adjust that situation in a way that honors you so that you wake up every day going, I have got so much to give to the world.
We are Gold Ivy. Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth. Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what creates space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are so happy to be in these chairs, and the person that we're looking at is, I feel like I'm still just discovering like the tip of the iceberg of who she is. We would like to welcome Shar Moore to Ivy Unleashed.
Thank you so much, ladies. I'm really honored to be here.
Oh, we're so happy, and just learning more about you. So we met Shar at an event in October, and it was wonderful. And we just were so drawn to Shar for her presence, her warmth, and it's hard to put it in words, really. But whenever we're about to record an episode, we do some research on people. I'm like putting down titles. I'm like TV show host, publisher, impact book, host of the Girlfriend Hour, TEDx speaker. Like the list it goes on and on and on, which is just wild. You have a story that is so unbelievable, which we really want to get into. When we were at this event, you stood up. You spoke to Gabby Bernstein on stage, and we would love for you to talk about what you shared with her, your life experience, and kind of how it led you to where you are now.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And it's funny when people read out your titles, you all of a sudden feel tired. It's like, oh, I did all of that. Oh, no, it's just progression in life. When you want to serve humanity, you don't think about all the things you've done. You keep going, what else can I do? How else can I serve? When I stood up and Gabby said, I've organised with the host to have a Q&A, which I don't normally do and don't normally have time for. When she said that, I got this incredible visceral response. Every cell in my body was on fire. And I had absolutely no idea what I was going to ask her. What? But my whole body stood me up. I didn't do anything. My body stood me up. And I'm lucky that I wasn't the first to be asked, because there was a few people that went before me. And during that time, I closed my eyes in front of 600 odd people standing there. I think there was maybe 6 or 7 of us. And I closed my eyes and I said to the universe, what am I asking this woman? My idol, I've fangirled over this woman forever. What am I going to ask her? And when it came to my turn, I sunk into my heart. I had my hand on my solar plex and I said, Gabby, how do I approach someone like you to endorse a coffee table book we're launching globally with some incredible impact makers as we raise funds to rescue sex-trafficked children? Something along those lines. I didn't ask her to endorse it. I asked her, how do I approach someone like you? And she said, pin drop moment, it's on my Instagram, pinned to the top. She said, you just did, gorgeous. I would love to endorse your book. You guys were there and the room lit up. I was sobbing. Everyone was clapping. People stood up. And I think what happened when I look back at it, and I have played that video so many times, when I felt out of body, when I felt out of character, when I've had a hater on social media, when I've been gaslit for something, all the stuff that happens when we're this public. I play that video to remind myself that when I am in my most authentic space, you literally are untouchable. I was a real human being asking another real human being, how do I make this impact book something so special by attaching a big name person like yourself to it so more people know about it? And I think when we sink into that space, the answer's always no if we don't ask. And so I asked.
And it was a yes.
It was a yes.
It was so special to be a part of that moment. And then after that, we had a dinner break, and we had dinner together, and us three got to spend an hour talking, learning about your story, wanting to know the inspiration behind this coffee book. And I'd love for you to get into that, because that is why Gabby Bernstein said yes, because of this mission that is on your heart.
Absolutely. So I've been in publishing for a number of years now. Started off in magazines. We were digital women's empowerment magazines. We then went to printed magazines. This was in Australia. And I then fell into books, and I went into the traditional compilation book model, 20 people sharing a chapter, and they were divine. It was under our Feminescence brand. Gorgeous products. And I realized that what I was lacking as a mid-age, early 50s, female entrepreneur, I was lacking something that I could place elegantly on my coffee table and not have in my bookshelf, not have maybe beside my bed that I pick up and read. I wanted something that was elegant, stylish, but I wanted it to have impact. I wanted to be able to pick this book up when I needed a shot in the arm, when I needed inspiration, when I needed to know that I wasn't alone, when I needed to know, what is someone else doing to serve humanity today? How do they think? What perseverance have they had to have in their life? And I guess when I started to go through what I wanted, and I think this is something for a lot of people to take away, if you're sitting there wanting it, I can hand on heart promise you, I've been around the sun many times now, there is someone else out there, hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people who also wake up with that same question. And what I know, ladies, if it's being gifted to you as a thought, it's because you're meant to birth it into this world, no one else. And so I sat there and thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I could publish the final thing I publish? And I never say never, because I have gone back to things, but at the moment I feel like it's my ending in my publishing career, is a beautiful hardcover coffee table book showcasing the insights and the mindset and the mastery of women all over the world. So we've literally been working on this for close to 2 years. It launches in Times Square in September 2024. And everyone's going to fly in from all over the world, and they're sharing around their impact, around their mastery, around their perseverance, around the action they've taken. It's not a storybook. It's not when I was 5, I fell over on my bike. It's about their wisdom, because that's the thing we take with us when we leave, is the mindset for the little things that happen. When you think about life, it's not how we deal with big tragedies. It's actually every day when we wake up, is there a ritual that we do? Before our feet touch the ground, is there a mantra that you say like I do? How do we go about greeting someone in the street? When we see someone struggling to pay their groceries, do we jump in? It's actually all those little things that create an impact. Yes, there are big grand gestures that we can do, and Guinness World Records and big things that make big noise. But I believe it's actually all of those small little golden nuggets of things every day that we do unconsciously, that we're drawing out of everyone in our book and placing it into this coffee table book to make everyone feel like, well, if they can, I can.
Wow.
You mentioned earlier sex trafficking. And from what you've been through to now having this heart of gold, and hearing how you speak and the love behind your voice, how do you come from that with what you've been through? Dre, tell the people as fast as you can why Move with Gold Ivy is the last mind-body fitness program they'll ever have to buy, and how women are finally getting the transformation they're looking for.
I love a challenge. Let's go. 2 big things. 1, Move provides a fun atmosphere to work out in that actually gets you excited to show up and follow through with your goals. Not only is there an element of fun, but we've carefully curated a program that makes it as easy as possible for women to take care of themselves. And 2, a Move membership addresses every aspect of your health, mind and body. Our Move members are getting the physical transformation they've been hoping for and feeling like they've finally found the group that motivates them on a daily basis. What did I miss?
As a Move member, you receive a weekly workout plan, weekly live or Zoom workouts, an on-demand workout library, transformational quarterly reset challenges, monthly coaching calls, monthly masterminds with health experts, and a private group of motivated members for support and accountability.
It's ready for you when you're ready to boost your metabolism, confidence, and feel your absolute best. Join Move or learn more by clicking the link in the show notes, clicking the link in our bio on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, or by messaging us on any social channel at Gold Ivy Health Co.
It's your time. Move for your health, move for your confidence, move for your mental clarity, move with Gold Ivy. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every episode of Ivy Unleashed is dedicated to empowering you to take ownership of your health. And what it really comes down to is prioritizing your mental health.
We've both seen the beauty and growth that therapy can bring and are thrilled to partner with BetterHelp to allow you the opportunity to feel heard and seen by a professional. The National Alliance on Mental Health reports that 155 million people live in a designated mental health professional shortage area, and BetterHelp is working to close that gap.
I've personally used BetterHelp and loved it because it was all online, making it super convenient. The biggest piece for me was how affordable it is. I was able to choose the therapist that met my needs. I came in with wanting to work on childhood trauma and anxiety, and it was unbelievable to see how many options I had with all the different backgrounds of therapists.
With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness. And sometimes we can't see our own patterns and behaviors until we talk them out and get an unbiased perspective.
It's really nice to have someone who doesn't know you and has the professional background to help you thrive in your daily life. It has made the world of a difference with every relationship in my life, including the one with myself.
To get started, all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire about your needs and preferences and choose your therapist out of the options they give you. You can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. Also, you can switch therapists at no additional charge until you find the right fit for you.
The best investment you can make is in yourself. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/goldivy. That's betterhelp.com/goldivy.
Take the first step to inner peace and freedom today. And now back to the show.
It's taken a minute. So I was engaged at 11 years old until 15 and a half. And if I had grown up in Asia, where being Indian, which I am, it would have been normal. So all my friends at school possibly would have been going through the same situation because it's a very traditional thing to do. But when I grew up in Australia, already, dark hair, dark eyes, tan skin, I was already the odd one out. So I was already an outcast. And then to turn up at school at 11 with an engagement ring, that kind of put me in a whole nother bracket. And when my stepdad, who was Australian as well, he found out about the situation at 15 and a half, and he asked me the most pivotal question of my life: is this what you want? And for the first time in my whole life, someone actually wanted to know what I wanted. And it gave me this gift of voice. It gave me a gift of choice. It gave me a gift to then decide, who do I want to be? And so fast forward many years, and I chose the man I wanted to marry. I met him at 17 and a half. We got married at 20 something. We're celebrating 31 years of marriage in 2 months.
Wow, congrats.
5 children together, 2 he prepared earlier, 3 we prepared. We adopted our daughter from India when she was 6 days old. She's just turned 20. We've got 5 grandchildren. And the reason I tell you all of that is that they're all choices I made. And so when we're given back that power, the biggest thing my dad gave to me was he gave me an opportunity to design my own life. And I always wanted to pay that forward. There's an exceptional movie, I don't know if you've seen it, called Pay It Forward. It is brilliant. It's an old movie, but you just have to watch it. And I watched it and I thought, how do I pay forward what my beautiful dad has done for me? And so one day I was sitting at an event in Brisbane, Sydney, Brisbane, somewhere, and someone said, oh, they're involved with a brand called Destiny Rescue. They're a charity out of the US. They have an arm here in Australia. I said, what do they do? Just the two words, Destiny Rescue, rescue destiny. That's what my dad did. It just chilled. I was covered in chills. And so I, of course, went down this whole rabbit hole of what do they do? How do they do it? How do I be involved? And so building a relationship with the Australian CEO, they appointed me as one of their ambassadors. And once I was given my voice, ladies, I haven't been able to turn it off. Just ask my husband. All I do is speak now. I've spoken all over the world. I speak any opportunity I can. And I always really strive to make the person I'm speaking with feel better about themselves when they leave me than when they turned up. And as an ambassador, I can't do the rescues. I can't go in. I can't build those I can't do that. That's just not my wheelhouse. What I can do is raise awareness and raise funds. And so that has brought my whole full circle now to paying it forward for what my dad did for me. We rescue sex trafficked girls. Some of them are as young as 5. I won't go into it because it really is hard to speak about some of the things that these poor little children go through in concrete rooms, and it just makes my heart sing to know that we've unlocked another door.
Oh, wow. I'm hearing so much purpose, vision, and drive. Like, having a voice is one thing that's, I think, like you said, having a choice, it's so important. We just talked with Dr. Shefali about cultivating that inner voice with your kids in the smallest things. Like you said, it's like letting them choose what they want to wear, letting them choose what's for dinner, and giving them this voice, which, I mean, it's one question you were asked that has changed the trajectory of your life. And so I want to hear more about this drive that you have, because I feel like when you get an idea, you take it 150%. And so were you just born like that? Do you think it started in this? Like, where did this come from?
So for me, and I think everyone will have a different answer, and there certainly isn't one answer for every time someone asks this question. For me, when you're born into an environment like I was, where literally people were crying in the waiting room when they announced that I was a girl, because girls in the Indian culture are seen as a curse. They're an expense. There's a dowry that has to get paid to marry them off. And so sons are celebrated. They're the ones that earn the income, the family live with them. So if you come from a culture like mine and being suppressed and being told what to wear, what to say, how to dress, how to act, stand behind, let your brother or your siblings do the talking, because all of that stuff, when you finally get ungagged, if you like, what I needed to do, and don't think by any under misillusions that I came out at 15 and a half, boom, off you go. Hell no. I went through the whole victim mentality because I was a victim, sexually abused, everything else that went on, I was a victim. And I had learnt, when you come out of that, it's like coming off a diet. You go and eat all your favorite things the next day because it's like I've been starved of them. And so I had been starved of attention, people listening to me, hearing my voice. So I went out and would tell anyone who would listen in my 20s, this is what happened to me. Then I watched what happened. Over time, they would distance themselves and disappear. Who wants to be around someone like that all the time? Exhausting. So then I decided to go from victim to victorious. It had happened to me, cannot change it. What do I now do about it? What if I could put a positive spin on what happened and turn that whole experience around to shape me who I am today? Then how do I make that serve humanity? So I learnt to become a public speaker. I learnt how to craft my story in such a way that would, rather than leave the audience sobbing on the floor, which is how I used to leave them, feeling sorry for me because I was wanting to be rescued, to jumping out of their seats going, I don't care what's happened to me. If that woman can do it and she didn't finish high school, she hasn't been to university, she's got no degrees, she's got no formal anythings, what is my excuse? And so I learned how to serve humanity. And so I think when you can put a peg in all those things and realize they've happened to you for a reason, you never get dealt what you can't handle. Although there is a point where you need to say the universe, enough, return to sender. I've got to add that in, which I did. Sorry, wrong address. No, here. Then I learned, how do I help others? And so when I started to speak, I would take people on the high, low, high journey, and they would literally leave going, that was an inspiration. I just had a lady yesterday. I put something random. I've got to digress here because I digress a lot. Get used to it.
Love it.
But I just put something up on my social media the other day, like, I know people from all over the world. I've got 2 Facebook accounts. One's full and I'm building the other one. Anywho, I said, how did we meet? Where did we meet? And one lady popped up and said, you spoke in Dubbo, which is in country New South Wales. I did a 3,500 kilometre speaking tour, towing a caravan, all signed written, to raise money for our charity. I spoke for free, and every cent I made or was paid to speak on that whole 3,500 kilometre trip, which was over 3.5 weeks, I donated to the charity. And we rescued, I don't know, I can't remember now, 20 odd girls, but it was amazing. Anyway, this lady was sitting in this event and she said, I met you when you spoke at a 6 a.m. breakfast in Dubbo, and it was freezing cold, and I don't do cold. And she said, I still remember that talk, and I used to have Shazam cards, Shazam, right? And I did these beautiful quote cards, all gold foiled. Everything I do is just pretty. And I would hand them out everywhere I went. And she bought a box of 52 and she said, I still hand your cards out and I still think of you and I still have one in my diary. I'm like, wow. I couldn't remember her name, but I remember meeting her. And that's the impact you can make when you make it not about yourself. So long answer to your question.
I love that, when you make it not about yourself. I'm also thinking about what you said earlier about authenticity, right? Because you have to be yourself. So it's not about yourself, but it's being yourself. So as you went from victim to victorious, how did you find your authentic self? Because I feel like a lot of women listening are in this spot of, I'm rediscovering myself and I'm also recreating myself. So what do you have to say on that topic?
I really feel like when you're creating your new 2.0 version of you, I think I'm up to like 51, but it's really important to make sure that when you're writing down what lights you up, that it is actually about you. Here's the biggest thing I see. I used to mentor women for over 10 years. We've just launched another digital brand, Chardonnay Way, and it's all around serving women. But what I've found is often they're driven by another voice in their head. And that voice is often a partner, a sibling, a mother-in-law, a boss. And that voice is louder than their voice. So if you're trying to rediscover your new 2.0, I would suggest when you write it out on a piece of paper. So I love colors. I can't go anywhere without, colored pens and things, and I circle things and highlight things. I would scratch out on a piece of paper all the things that I feel I would want to do or who I am. Then I go back and rule things out because I go, is that actually my label? Has that been placed on me? Even our name. We may not actually be our name. Someone else decided that was the name for us before we were born or when we were born. So we're living into a name that may or may not be us, which is why some people go through an identity crisis because they may not feel like a Georgia or a Celeste or whatever. And so it's the same with this. When you're just rediscovering yourself, ask yourself on that piece of paper, is that my label? Is that actually what I want to do? If you have 12 months left, standard question, right? The doctor says you get 12 months left to live. Would you be doing what you're doing now? And if you're not, what the heck are you waiting for? Most of us don't get a 12-month warning or alarm. We could be gone today. So I'm a big believer of living life by design. The paintbrush is so in your hands. Design it the way you want. So when something on that paper, if it gives you a, wax kind of feeling, like a flame and wax analogy I used to get to my clients to do. Draw a line down a piece of paper, super quick, flame on one side at the top, wax on the other, and write down all the things that make you feel a certain way. And if there's more wax in something, it makes you feel like you're in the middle of the candle, you're stuck, you're sticky, you're bogged down, you can't breathe. If it's, oh my God, I can't wait to do this today, I feel alive and excited, I'm on fire. Do 80% of your week in your flame and 20% in your wax. As business owners, we've got to do a little bit of wax. For me, it's my tax and but then outsource.
I feel you.
Right? Oh, I want to make it. I don't want to count it. That's someone else's job. But then outsource as much of that wax as you can to team, to VAs, to whoever, people that are honestly better at it than us anyway. That'll help you narrow down who you are, who you want to be, because it should be about what lights you up.
I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I want to get into a bit about, we're podcast hosts and you are a television show host. And so watching your show and learning more about you was so interesting. And I love the way that, which before we talked, before we started recording and we had a pre-recording meeting, you were like, let whatever comes up, come up. And I love that about you. And I can feel that when I watch your show on YouTube, which you have a ton of subscribers. It's so wonderful. But I want to hear about the lessons you've learned as a host and kind of, through all these episodes, what your mission is with your show.
Thank you. And it's funny, I don't watch my own show and people will say things like, and I don't remember what I say when I host anything. I probably won't remember today either because I'm channeling. So when we script things, which is why I don't, and some hosts get a little bit upset, I don't look at your pre-host questions. I don't look at the form. I'm so sorry, but for me to show up authentically, and often if I'm invited on a show, if they're really strict on that, I just respectfully say, I'm sorry, my dance card is full and I just don't have the space at the moment. If it frees up, I'll let you know. I don't want to be pigeonholed. Remember where I came from. Mm-hmm. I'd been scripted. I'd been pigeonholed. I'd been told this is what you say, this is what you do, this is what you wear. And now I'm a free bird, if you like. I don't want to be put back into that. And here's the thing, when I did my first show, I paid a lot of experts, a lot of money in the traditional TV industry. That was my mistake. Because what I learned is they are so scripted. And my first show, I watch sometimes to realize how far I've come because it's so cringeworthy for me. No one else may see it, but for me, it was so scripted. I was literally reading word for word off cue cards of a question. And when I got out, my family were there for the first few shows and my children took days off work and they said, Mum, just be you. That didn't feel like you. I went, you know what? You're right. I literally went and tore up all the cards and I went out and had fun. Mm-hmm. And that's when the show took off. We did 1.3 million views in 6 weeks when I just showed up as me.
Let's back up though to the channeling. I was talking more about channeling. Can't let for the women listening, they're like, what are you talking about channeling? Can we just kind of dive into that because it's really interesting and intriguing? Absolutely. So look, we all do it. Whether we want to admit we do it or not is a different story. And it comes maybe with age and confidence. And I'm finding now that people, the younger generation, I can say in their 30s is younger because I'm in my 50s, they're starting to go, well, there's something in this. It's your inner voice. I call it your inner GPS system. You know it, you hear it. But what we do, our conscious brain, when we hear our subconscious talking to us, our conscious brain, our limiting beliefs, our ego, our little itty bitty shitty committee that sits on our shoulder, right? It's got a very loud voice. I fired mine years ago, and I'll tell you how to do that if you want a little trick. Yes,
all of those voices become louder than your own. Now, we have all been gifted with something, and one day I may publish one more book. See, I already changed my mind.
We're here for it.
And I want to write it backwards, but it's all the gifts we've been given that we didn't open. and it's going to be really dark and gloomy on the cover, and there'll be a grave and a coffin, and the coffin will be slightly open, and all these beautifully wrapped, sparkly, shiny gifts, just this light is coming out, because they die with you if you don't use them. So your inner voice, your inner guidance system is actually guiding you the way you need to go. But bravery, courage, itty bitty shitty, all of those things stop us. And then our ego brain, a monkey brain, our conscious brain, our limiting beliefs will pop up, and imposter syndrome will say, you can't do that. Who are you to start a TV show? You're not Oprah, girlfriend. And that's also what I did wrong in my first one. A lot of people have called me the Sharper of Australia, the Oprah of Australia. It's rubbish. I'm not that big and I'm not that famous. However, it got in my head. And so I have watched Oprah forever, probably like a lot of people listening. And I started to try and be her. And so when you are trying to be anyone else, who's being you? I have a weird quote, and it says, if I'm being you and you're being me, who's being me and who's being you? It's a head twister. But if you think about it, if I all of a sudden go, oh, Andrea, I'm just going to model everything Andrea does, or Gabby, but whoever, then who's being me? No one can be me but me. No one's lived my story. No one's raised my children. No one's traveled the world for 8 years with 3 kids in tow working. No one's done that. And so that channeling comes. And when we ask ourselves a question, which is also mirror work, is really hard to do. And when I owned mirror work and I grasped it and I really, really did it properly, oh my goodness, the stuff that talks back to you, stand in front of a mirror and ask whatever it is you want to ask. And let the soul through you, through the mirror, come back to you. It'll give you all your answers. It'll tell you. So when I speak, when I did today, I closed my eyes, palms open, and I looked up and I closed my eyes, hand on heart. And then I said, let me speak today for the women listening that need to hear what they need to hear. And then I just say what I need to say, and I won't remember what I say after this because it's coming through me for someone listening, probably just one person. That's okay. I only ever speak all over the world for one person. If you can change one person's life every day, and everyone in humanity did that, we would definitely not live in the chaos we're living in right now.
That's so true.
I think about the limiting beliefs, right? When it's not about you, like so many speakers that we follow, they recommend, Jen Gottlieb being one, think about that one person in the audience. Don't make it about you. When you are nervous, you're thinking about you and not them. And I almost feel like that has to help with the limiting beliefs, right? I'm taking it outside of myself. Would you say that's what helps and has helped you these years? Or when it comes to those limiting beliefs, because you've done some big things in your life. That itty bitty shitty committee, I'm sure, was very loud and probably still is. How have you overcome those limiting beliefs? This is important. If you are sick of spending money on product after product for your face, this is for you. I've spent so much time, money trying to find the perfect skincare line when really all I needed was clean ingredients and something that actually did the trick. And that's where the Golden Secret skincare line comes into play.
All right, what products are you using now that you love?
It's been a few years now of regularly using the Golden Secret's Heal All Oil, and my skin has never looked better. I spent years struggling with acne, and I'm so thankful Jessie Golden created the Heal All Oil. I use it both morning and night as my cleanser, and it's safe to say oil cleansing is where it's at. Clean and simplicity are what's most important to me, and the Heal All Oil and every Golden Secret product is just that.
I love when people share what and why they use skincare products. I finally created a habit with the combo of the Sorcerer's Stone Gua Sha tool and the Heal All Oil. I'm already seeing more definition in my jawline and cheekbones, which is so exciting. Jessie also provides tutorials on exactly how to use all her tools and products, and I'm telling everyone because I know it can be so overwhelming to start.
If you're up for trying a new skincare ritual that doesn't harm you or the environment, but instead works in harmony to awaken it, The Golden Secrets is available at thegoldensecrets.com. We're thrilled to tell you about this amazing company and give you a discount code for your future The Golden Secrets purchases.
Yes, use code GOLDIVY for 10% today and keep watching us at Gold Ivy Health Co. on all social channels as we continue sharing our results with the Golden Secrets skincare line. You can find the link and code in the show notes of this episode.
I love that. And one of the biggest exercises I used to get my clients to do is when you think about that one person, yes, she's right. I love Jen and she's right. What I would do before that is actually make that one person you and write a letter to your bestest friend in the whole, your ride or die. But that is you. But you write a letter as if she isn't you and she's your bestest friend in the whole goddamn world, sister from another mister. Write it for her. And when you write it, you will cry, you will laugh, you will giggle, you will snort. You will really go to the depths of where you need to go to, because you will, if your bestest friend, like you two are so close, if you turned up one night, 2 a.m. in the morning, the wheels have fallen off your life, you've thrown all the toys out of the pram, you're sitting in the corner, you would say everything that that person needed to say in that moment, but we never do it for ourselves. So write that letter to you as if you were your best friend, and then read it back consistently every day if you can until you start to believe it. When we turn up for someone else, so how do you get rid of it? So some mind work that you can do. If you picture your itty bitty shitty committee, it could be one person and they're a whole committee. They could be a mother, a someone, right? Someone. And sometimes, and I want to preface this by saying that sometimes the people that are dumping their stuff on us or protecting us in a way that feels controlling, they are absolutely doing it from a place of love most of the time. Most of the time. Some of them may be doing it just because they're doing it to be nasty. But let's believe that they're doing it from a place of love. It's because their limiting beliefs are where they are, and they're so scared that if you turn into the person that they think you can become, they're going to be alone. No one's going to be there with them anymore. So I used to close my eyes, picture my itty bitty, and different faces would appear. Sometimes it was a whole committee. Sometimes it was one person and they were on all the little bodies. And then I would hold my arm out and I'd close my eyes and do it in my mind's eye, and I would watch them. And as they would talk, I would speed up their talk. You know how you put something on, right? So then what they were saying to me is, you're just an Indian girl, you're 11, you're this, and then it would sound funny, like a cartoon. And then I would go from this big picture in my mind's eye to these little tiny cartoon characters, all smishy faced and can't even see them anymore. And I would watch them in my mind's eye crawling off and then jumping off my wrist and landing into wherever. And then that shuts it down. And every so often they come back and I do the same exercise and it works.
Gosh, I love this so much. It's making me so emotional because you said you started this, trying to channel what people need to hear. And I feel like so many women need a practical, maybe silly to do these things, but if they work, right? And to me, thinking of getting rid of the inner critic, especially when you're a parent or you have a tough person in your life or you're struggling with a relationship or you're an entrepreneur, fill in the blank. Life is hard and you second guess yourself. And especially when your authentic voice is quieted because you haven't let it have a voice. Having this idea of writing that letter is so beautiful to me because sometimes we need to think outside of ourselves to give that love. I can just feel how much work you've done on yourself, and it's awesome. I love that you're sharing these tools. So thank you for giving that for our audience. I'm so happy that's out there now. It's making me really cry a lot, and I need to cry.
I just think
I have that effect on people.
Yeah.
You've touched her. She's the one.
It's beautiful. Yeah, you said that's what I needed to hear. And I think too, Brooke and I are starting to get on stages and the nerves are real and it's something to work through, like what's coming up. And sometimes I get emotional or really nervous, and to have this tool.
I do want to ask though, when I don't prepare, I just channel. What about when you would go on these stages and give a specific talk? What did that look like?
So when I go on stages, so physically preparing, go in the bathroom, do push up against the wall. I'm not going to go down on the bathroom floor and do them, and I don't do that anyway. I'm not that strong. But against the wall, it's about getting rid of all of that adrenaline. That's what chokes you up. And doing deep breathing through your throat, opening your throat chakra up. There's some practices you can YouTube or Google, I'm sure. But I did professional training, and the little things like this help so much. And physically preparing, like for the keynote or whatever it is, I know my topic and I know where I want to start them. And the most important thing for me, because I'm not scripted, is where I want them to be at the end of my talk and how I want them to feel. So I used to speak for cruise ships, and a very interesting eclectic audience. You got people who are 2 minutes before they're about to be in a grave somewhere. They're at that very end of life and nodding off and falling asleep in your talk. And then you've got people who are business owners. And so I still stuck to my format. And so where I want them to be, depending on the audience, but typically always the same place, I want them to feel like the world is out to support them and the universe is there for them and there isn't anything they can't achieve. And then in the middle, because my story is so heavy, what I learned to do was share it as a third person. Most people don't look at me and go, oh, she's Indian. They might see some exotic European something, right? And so that's what I get told a lot, but they don't go, oh, Indian. And so I can hide away a little bit there in my story going, I'd like to tell you a story about a little Indian girl. And so I make it third person. I also did that purely for myself. Because sharing my story so publicly, especially when I take people through some more intimate details of that 5-year period, that's really difficult as a speaker to hold it together. And so then I would bring it all together and say, who would like to know where that little Indian girl is today? And half of the room go, I bet it's her, and half have no idea. And so the applause, the moment, the release, the excitement, the, oh my God, go girlfriend, you did it. And so that gives them then permission, one, to share. And so when I open up for questions, I have people saying things in rooms to me that they haven't shared with anyone. And then they're doing it for the first time in public because I've created such a safe space for all of us just to be human. We have so forgotten with the takeover of technology. We are human beings. We are not human doings. We don't need to get up every day and do. We are beings. Can we just be? Can we just soak this moment up? Whether anyone listens to this show or not, I'm having a fantastic time talking with you. I just want to be with you. If anyone else listens, bonus. Right? We're having a moment. Why do we always look for the next dopamine hit? How many likes? How many views? Oh, does it matter? If you get 100, if you get 20, put 20 people in a room that got something out of this talk, that's 20 human beings. And I want to talk about the ripple effect, because with the impact book, it's going to impact millions, but not because I did that. There's 30, 40 people going to be in the book. They go out into their world. They share the book. That impacts a life. That life impacts hundreds of lives in their circle. That impact, can you see the ripple effect? Pebble in a still pond. That's how we should all be every day. One pebble, still pond, let it ripple. Give up on all the stats and the views, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Amen. And that's the Chardonnay way right there.
It really is.
Will you speak on that? Because you shared that when we did our pre-recording meeting, and Andrew and I were like, we're obsessed. This is amazing. So talk about the Chardonnay way.
So look, I love plays on names, and Chardonnay, as we all know, is spelt with a C, and it's a beautiful bottle of wine, but I obviously swapped it for an S. And Chardonnay Way is a brand that I've had a few times, and it's been through a few iterations, but it's always been something that's around popping that cork and watching all these effervescent bubbles and sparkly. I love shiny things. I don't know if you can see my nails,
Yes.
but every one of them has got, like, I'm all obsessed with things that make you feel sparkly and shiny. And because I believe every one of us, if I could boil you in a pot, not that I would, your essence of who you truly are would come out because the pressure of the hot water would just release the best version of you. And so when you think about Chardonnay and popping it, if you could actually see the gold and sparkly bubbles coming out, that's how I want people to live their life. And so Chardonnay Way is a new brand we literally just launched, and I'm so touched and honored because it's not about numbers. It's just how many people are responding to it and soaking it up and purchasing these courses. So the digital boom is so here right now, so here. Whilst it's been around a while, it's really here now post-pandemic. And I want to help 1,000 women create an autonomous business reselling digital courses. And so 20 years of business, know a couple of things, decided to kind of punch it all together into these beautifully designed courses. And now people can buy them, they can resell as is, or they can redesign and sell. And I recommend redesigning because you want your own stamp on it. The way I do things, I've got an Indian touch in them as well because I'm Indian, right? So when you make something your very own, Chardonnay Way is about creating your life by design. My husband and I have been traveling since May 2023, and we've been everywhere. And we've still got so many places to go, but we make money while we sleep. We swim, we go for walks. We're living on an island in Thailand right now. We're heading to Australia soon. We're going to Europe. We're going to the States. Like, we can do all of that when you've got a business supporting you in the back end. But the most beautiful thing is that every time someone buys one of our courses, they start at $27. They can resell and make money the next day. And that's a brand and a model I have not seen before. And that's so exciting because most people don't find the time to create the products. They don't know if it's going to be good enough. They get stuck on the brand. Their ego gets in the way. What if what I'm saying in it, we've taken all that away. Buy ours, slap your logo and branding on it, resell it tomorrow. And you can get out of whatever is keeping you in your wax and live more in your flame, because then they can help more women. That's the ripple effect.
I love it too that so much of what you do is for women, which makes complete sense from the beginning of your life, like you said. And it's so beautiful because it's creating, it's the gold we talk about, right? It's who you are and giving life to that. And in so many ways that you're doing it. I can't even imagine what else is going to happen in your life and who you're going to touch next. So how are you deciding where you're traveling to with your husband?
So we plan, I think the best analogy of that and how we work it out is a little boy went up to the cockpit of an aeroplane and they were going from, say, Sydney to New York. And he said, but you can't see New York yet. He said, how do you know you're going to get there? And he said, but the light is showing me the next little part, couple hundred meters. That's all I need to see. And when I get there, it'll light up the next path. That is pretty much how we're living our life. People will ask us, so what's planned for this year? And of course, our book was launching on the 24th of September in Times Square in New York. I'll be there. But that's all. I don't need to plan. I think when you've raised 5 children, when you've got 5 grandchildren, when you've run a business, when your husband's been pretty much traveling for most of that time during the week, and I was a single mum during the week, racing around, your life is literally planned to the minute. 2 minutes before pick up, school, drop off, great, go kids, get your snacks, do your homework. I've got to get on a mentoring call at 3:30 and this, and it goes and it goes and it goes, and it's dinner, then someone's got work that evening. When you've planned that much for 30 years, 32 years of your life, what we're loving right now is no plan. So we know some real key milestones. We've got a wedding to go to. We've got the book launch in New York. Outside of that, we look the next month or two and that's all we know. So we do want to hit Europe. I want to get lost in Europe. I want to walk the streets in Saint-Tropez. I want to do a beautiful flyaway dress photo shoot in Greece. But I want to take women that have gone through Chardonnay Way and are making a couple of grand a week in courses that can then go, I want to come. I want to do a photo shoot with all of us, right? I want to help 1,000 over, however long that takes. But even if there's 20 of us there, they're living their life by design. We can meet up and I want to do fun stuff. I only ever like to work with people that I think you and I could travel the world and have some fun. Otherwise, what's the point? Why are you in business? If you don't like your clients, you may as well go back to corporate.
I feel the same way.
With the people you don't like, right?
I'll travel the
fun,
world
don't
with
do it.
both of you.
Yes. Oh, we got to meet up
How
somewhere. You can be our tour guide. You've
Absolutely.
seen everything. You've been everywhere.
Not yet. Working on it.
Well, we want people to know where to find these courses, where to find the book, how to support your mission. Where can they find you?
Oh, thank you. Chardonnay Way with an S, chardonnayway.com. The courses are all there. They're all literally done and dusted. You can buy them with photos. You can buy them without photos. You can rebrand them yourself then. You can buy them with mock-ups. You can buy them with bonus Instagram. And they're like $27 to $93. It's not about the price point. It's about us helping more people make money. And we've kept it no-brainer. So really easy, chardonnayway with an S.com. The book, we're not pre-selling because we are going to try and hit some bestseller lists, but people can visit thatimpactbook.com. Thatimpactbook.com. Really easy one. And for me, sharmoore.com.au, and you can watch the TV show. Don't watch episode 1 because it's so cringeworthy. But if you do, watch episode 1 and then watch the last episode of season 2, and you'll see the difference between the two, the growth.
I love it. We'll plug everything. I know people are going to be wanting to support your book so much and your mission behind it. It's so beautiful. And we always wrap up our show with a few segments. The first one is your 3 gold stars. So if you could give our listeners 3 takeaways, anything at all, what are you going to channel in here?
Start with your why. Your why is the whole reason you've actually been born. You're not here for the what, you're not here for the who, you're not here for the when, you're not here for the how. You are here for the why. The second one would be live your life by design. The paintbrush is absolutely in your hand. It's your canvas. If you are living your life for anyone else but you, please do whatever you can to adjust that situation in a way that honors you so that you wake up every day going, I have got so much to give to the world. And number 3, I would say, make you your best friend. We were out for dinner the other night and one of the husbands looked at my nails and he said, oh, they look so beautiful. You know, do you do them for yourself? Another interesting question. Do you do them for your husband, Russ? I said, no, I do everything for me. The fact that he loves it is a bonus. Do whatever you're going to do for you. Don't worry about everyone else. I go out, I'm on an island. I still put my 24-hour long stay lipstick on when I'm swimming in the beach. My hair might be a mess. It doesn't matter. I don't do it for anyone else. I do it because it makes me feel good. And that's the biggest thing I think we need to do is stop worrying about everyone else. Go visit an aged care home and talk to someone in their 80s or 90s and they'll tell you they wasted so much of their life trying to be someone they weren't to please someone that they don't even know anymore. Just be you.
So good. So good.
Could listen to you all day.
Seriously. Okay, and we will. Not all day, but for a little bit because we have 3 rapid fire questions. The first one.
Which they're not rapid fire though.
I know, I just say it all the time.
They're surprise questions.
Surprise questions.
Yes.
Surprise questions. Unleashing Ivy is our segment. The first, my question, is you are always traveling. You're traveling the world. So I'm curious what makes you feel at home.
Ooh. My husband. My husband is my home. It doesn't matter where we've been in the world. We have our little rituals that make each other feel grounded. And as long as he's there, I'm home.
Oh, can you expand on the rituals? Give us an idea of what that looks like.
Sitting in certain places at the table, sitting in certain sides of the couch, sleeping in the sides of the bed that we do. He brings me my coffee of a morning. I serve him when he's a ghostwriter, so he writes other people's books for them. And so when he's about to write, I'll put a little flower on his desk. He will, set up flower trains because we've got these beautiful jasmine flowers in Thailand and bougainvilleas. And so he'll set up a little flower train. So it doesn't matter where we are. It's those little things that they bring us back to self. And you can create them in your relationship, and it's what you do repetitively that becomes comfortable and normal. So even though we have never been apart from our children, and the whole time our eldest son together is 30, I've never left him for any amount of time like this. and we FaceTime all the time, but it's those little things that my husband and I do together. We have date night once a week still after 32 years together. It's those things that doesn't matter what country, what postcode we're in, it doesn't matter. It's those things that we do that become our ritual that make us feel like we are home.
Oh, beautiful. I
Couple
love that.
goals.
Yes, I love the examples too.
Yes,
It's like,
yes.
okay. Ooh, okay. Bring me a little flower. When
Bring
I'm
me
done.
coffee every morning.
Yes,
Thank you, Ian.
I love that. Okay, my question has to do with one of the episodes you have on your show, The Girlfriend Hour. The title of the episode was so intriguing. It talked about a diagnosis that took a very long time for you to get. And so I would love for you to talk about your experience and how not having this diagnosis and then having it, how that's affected you in your life.
Wow. Go the big guns. So I think every disease is a dis-ease in our body. And I believe that we attract certain things into our body because of our mindset. So when I was younger, all the trauma, then the PTSD, if you like, that came from it, I manifested and created, I believe, the disease that I then got diagnosed with when I turned 50. And so I'd had it from probably teens, but undiagnosed. And so it's called lipedema. And it's one of those things that goes pretty much undiagnosed because it looks so much like cellulite in your legs that it masks itself that way. And unless a doctor, and it's still starting to come out, there's so much, even in Australia, every doctor I went to, I had to take pamphlets of information so they knew what I was talking about. And they thought I had heart failure. So I woke up not long after my 50th birthday. Yay, I finally hit 50. It's the best chapter of your life. Oh, bully for you, you get a disease. And I woke up one day and my knee was incredibly swollen and unusually so. And something's not right. All the tests. You've got heart problem, you've got liver problem, you've got kidney problem, you've got this, you've got that, you've got da-da-da-da-da. Every test. And finally, the lady that was doing my ultrasound on my knee, she said, have you ever considered seeing a lymphatic therapist? I said, no, why? And she said, I think you may have something wrong with your lymph nodes. So off I go. Within 10 seconds of being on the bed, this lady said, you've got lipedema. I'll ring my surgeon, da-da-da-da. So we went down this whole path. But I guess the point was that I had put up with it for so long, and I would walk 10 kilometers with girlfriends. I swam. I used to play tennis. I would do Zumba and all the things. Or I would watch my friends' shape change, and I would watch mine stay exactly the same, if not get bigger. And it was so debilitating, so disheartening. We would go to beautiful islands in Australia for holidays with our friends, and I would run into the water while no one was looking because I had chunks of cellulite hanging off my legs, upper legs. And it's so embarrassing. But I didn't do anything wrong, but I didn't know that I had a disease. And it's something that, unfortunately, I was at stage 3. And if it had gotten to stage 4 or 5, it can turn into lymphedema, then it can turn into cancer, and you can pass away. And a lot of young girls that are undiagnosed take their own life because it's so ugly. And women have such a stereotype with their bodies. That's when I really started to go, this is me. So I had 2 very, very painful, excruciating surgeries. They had to remove every diseased cell. And the recovery is insane. It's horrible. And now I have bullet wounds all over my legs and some nerve pain still till today. I still get swelling. But I walk out and swim in my bathers, not covered up, because I don't care anymore. I had a disease. I still have it in some areas of my body. It is not going to control me. I can curb the rest through diet. But for me, I believe that every one of us carries a scar internally or externally. And if we hide it from the world, what are we telling the world? We're saying to live in this existence, you have to be perfect like Barbie. I walk proudly on the beach. I don't hide my legs. I see people looking at the sky. I don't care because it gives them permission to whip their sarong off and do the same bloody thing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I would encourage people too to go to the episode that I'm talking about. It's pretty recent, I think. And
It's the last episode of season 2.
Yes.
Episode 6 of season 2.
Because I think too, something that you said in that really hit me, because we have a lot of people listening that do have chronic conditions that are undiagnosed, is people telling you just work harder. Aren't you just working harder, you know? And like the gaslighting that goes along with not understanding what's happening in your body and then people having opinions about it. I just can't imagine what must have been said to you and how that must have felt.
Oh, look, I think, everyone's got an opinion, and there's gaslighting, there's keyboard warriors out there till the cows come home. And anyone so when you shine your light brightly, the darker corners get darker. And it's because of their limiting beliefs and their imposter syndrome that they want to try and bring you back down because it makes them feel better. And so I just believe that keep shining, like Taylor Swift, perfect example. Haters going to hate all the stuff she's been through. She just goes out there and keeps being herself, bigger and better, because that's who she is, and she doesn't listen. Every one of us, if you're going to grow a brand, like you ladies may have experienced it, you may not, it may come, it may not. But if it does, I have a team that manage my social media. I don't even actually get to see any of it anymore. And I think that's really good. Switch off from it. When I launched the TV show, I didn't read any of the comments because I didn't know if it was going to be received well or not, and it didn't matter. I didn't do the show for that keyboard warrior sitting in their comfy home, not living their life, because it's their choice what they've done. But why should I let them judge a show that I've put my heart, soul, and finances and everything into? Because I knew it would help one person. And I would get messages from women that the team would share with me and say they'd lost all of their family during COVID, connections wise, like not being able to see them. They felt so disconnected from humanity. They felt so alone. They felt like people didn't get them anymore. They didn't understand. And then they would watch my show, but they would play it on repeat in the house while they were walking around doing housework because they felt like they had a girlfriend with them. That, my friend, is the only reason I did the show. And that one feedback was enough for me to go, job done.
Oh, amen. Oh, I love it. Okay, last question, Shar. If you could go back and tell younger Shar one thing, what age would you choose and what would you tell her?
I would go back to when I was 11, when I got engaged, and I would say, stay strong, darling. Because not only are you going to get through this, it's going to make you the most incredible woman that people are going to line up to see. You have the biggest heart, and I've got you.
That's so beautiful. Whoo, Shar, man, I am so grateful we met you. I'm so grateful that you listened when your whole body told you to stand and speak at that event, and that when we felt called to sit with you, that we sat with you, because now you're on our platform and the words you've shared today are so beautiful. I'm like so overwhelmed. I've been trying to keep it in. I don't know why. I cry every episode. It's fine. I'm just so grateful that you keep listening to this voice and that you're encouraging other people to do the same in so many ways. We're honored that you've sat with us. And I don't feel like this is the end. I feel like we're going to find you somewhere else. Come to more of your events. Read your books.
We'll see you in Greece. We'll do a fashion show, a photo shoot too. That sounds
Flyaway dresses.
Incredible. Fabulous.
Oh, definitely. Chardonnay way. Imagine it's all there. Those beautiful long, few meter long flyaway dresses in the beautiful silks. And you're standing on top of the Greece rooftops. Like, that's what I want to see with people that are making money from Chardonnay way. And we're all traveling the world. Like, that's how it should be.
Yes. Oh, yes. Let's go find
I'm
her.
I'm
there.
so honored that you've had me on. Thank you so much, ladies. You're amazing. And you don't realize maybe yet the powerful gift you're bringing to so many. And so keep staying in your lane, keep being true to yourselves, and know that you've been gifted this opportunity, and just push it to its limits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. We hate to see you go, but we're going to come find you, so it's okay. We leave our listeners with a piece of gold, a quote that speaks to you. Would you please share yours?
It's a Mark Twain quote, but I absolutely resonate with it. The two most important days of your life are when you are born and when you know why.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold. We want to thank you and encourage you to celebrate yourself for taking the time to learn and get inspired in your one beautiful life. And if this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to help support our mission to keep bringing you inspiring stories and guests.
First, following the podcast is important because it helps you never miss an episode. To do this, just go to the Ivy Unleashed podcast show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
While you're there, if you'd be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review and share your favorite episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful for your support.
We are thrilled you're here and are so happy that you're taking time to prioritize your wellness, self-discovery, and growth with us.